Alright, so this is going to be a walkthrough of the Quake single player map I designed. So I guess going off the just a little information with the name and theme, it's called Galshara Ruins, and the theme of the map is kind of like a temple that these monsters have taken over. So I guess starting off with it, I tried to mimic a lot of the opening hallways that a lot of Quake maps have. Um, with you see like you start over here and then you kind of have this long hallway. It leads to a door, kind of a bridge for an enemy to walk over to kind of, just set the scene. But I also have this water here. And it kind of has like this little secret inside for the player who's, trying to explore. So I guess going into it more, we have this first main room. Um, and I picked a wad that had murals that I really liked because it kind of fit that temple theme. So you have these ones over here, and these ones as well. And so moving this way, you grab this. It kind of spawns more enemies, but you kind of have this cover to hide behind. You kind of lean into this cover, step back out of it. Um, yeah, I really liked the idea of having, you see the door open and an enemy walks out. So I spawn the enforcer behind that door, and then I activate him using a trigger that's like right here. Yeah, it's just another shot of those murals. Going this way, I kind of have this main hall. I really like this roof texture because it kind of guides the player's line of sight forward, the line of sight and movement forward. So we kind of have this kind of leads the player into this area here. Like these knights are supposed to kind of push this player back into this hallway where a lot of these items are. Um, I mean, there's just a lot to unpack here. Um, the knights, you know, the player's led down the hallway to pick up these items. This item here, the shotgun shells, that will spawn the knights. The knights will kind of, come running at the player. They have a lot of health, so that's gonna like start pushing the player backwards into this hallway, this door. I mean, and that's where you picked up all these items. And so these items are gonna be very helpful for taking them out. So it's kind of like, oh no, and then I start the encounter with lower power, and then once I back into this room, I get a lot more power. Um, And so these enemies up here are just kind of up on this balcony, and they're triggered to hop down after the knights have died. So once you kill the knights, these enemies will kind of just hop down. Oh, this dog is gonna get at me. I kind of like the idea of the dogs being behind this, chasing you and kind of being stopped by this wall, or you could stay there and kill them if you'd like. It kind of is up to the player really. Um, yeah, moving on to this room. I kind of have these two enemies, but also I have, um, these items over here. And so there's a trigger near the items, so once the player is enticed to go get those, it'll spawn this, um, it'll spawn this ogre, and it'll close the doors to the room, so you're kind of forced into a combat because you want to take the items. Going into this room here, just a simple hallway, nothing too major. So in this room, kind of an arrow pointing to the left. It's kind of just to curve the player, like maneuver the player's line of sight and movement, and kind of just frame the camera a little bit. Because originally this room, it's just like a big square, but the door wasn't. The door of the room is right here versus in here in the corner. So yeah, we have an enemy that hops down. And so by putting this wall here, it kind of ensures the player's going to be right here to see the enemy hop down, and you also see the door. So it kind of presents like it frames the situation very well, I feel. Rather than facing this way, you know you see a door and an enemy like is kind of hopping out of your peripheral. Now it's like you see the enemy directly hopping down to come get you. So this right here we have the courtyard scene. This one's very complex. So, entering the room, people are gonna come at me. Um, so I kind of have a lot of people popping out of cover, but also, oh, there's some health over here. But being over here, there's this kind of triggers this ogre to spawn, which kind of, while yes, you have cover here, he kind of uses his grenades to force you out of that cover, to kind of, push you around the arena more, which is which is good because otherwise you kind of just hang out behind that cover. I have more little item pickups to entice players to kind of not just stay in one spot. Um, Here we have a ogre, but also with a knight this time. I found that the ogres, sometimes you can kind of just spam them down with whatever. So having the knight there to kind of help soak up some of the damage is really nice. So here's a little drop off secret area, quote unquote secret area. It's not very secret, but it's on the other side of the bars of what I'm calling the armory, and you can kind of see these items through the bars. But now we actually have the opportunity to hop down and get them, and it kind of lowers the gate for us. And so we have this elevator to go back up, so people don't have to backtrack the whole level. I have a button here. You'll see that it moves that. I also have a little message because sometimes it's not very clear that that is what's happening. Then we can hop down. I hop down in a little water here. And then we have one last encounter in this like dark room around these like fire torch pillars. Yeah, and it kind of has some really nice dark lighting. But then this is kind of like the end of the level. You kind of found like the secret tunnel, I guess, of the temple to make it to the next area. So if I were going to continue making an episode of Quake, this is kind of where the next what's it called? The next level would kind of take off. It's like from right there. But yeah, I guess that's most of the things for my Quake single player map.